Cali to Chi-Town, it's Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the likes.
The Chicago Bears coaching rumors just went from smoke to fire. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, make sure you also do me another huge favor, but also hit the like button on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. All right, Bears fans, so we have a little bit more news in regard to the Chicago Bears coaching search. It's really nothing too much, but basically the Ben Johnson to the Chicago Bears rumors just went from smoke to fire. Obviously, there's a lot of Bears fans that want Ben Johnson as the next Chicago Bears head coach. There's also some other Bears fans saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to take the risk. He's not a proven head coach. Yes, he's a good offensive mind, but I don't think he's the right fit for the Chicago Bears coaching job. And everyone has a right to their opinion. But we all know that Ben Johnson is a great offensive mind, and we all believe that he would be what's best for the future and development of Caleb Williams. When you look at a guy like Ben Johnson, 2 top 5 finishes, and a third is likely on the way. The Detroit Lions are currently 12-1 and the current favorite to reach the Super Bowl and possibly win the Super Bowl as soon as this year. And there was also rumors that Ben Johnson was really interested in the Chicago Bears coaching job last year, but obviously Ryan Poles and the Bears opted to keep head coach Matt Eberflus. But here's where things get interesting. We all know about the news about legendary head coach Bill Belichick becoming the next head coach at the University of North Carolina. According to Seth Wickham of ESPN, he did a deep dive into Bill Belichick's decision to take over as the head coach at North Carolina, and he confirmed that Chicago was one of the NFL spots that Bill Belichick wanted, but it became clear they were planning to go with an offensive guy, and he basically said one offensive guy came to mind, and that guy was Ben Johnson. This is what he had to say, Bears fans. He said, according to sources with direct knowledge, the group deemed that the Chicago Bears were probably the most attractive job, but that team brass was unlikely to consider Belichick. The group expects the same thing that most around the league do, that the Bears will go offense, hoping to give quarterback Caleb Williams a chance at a career, probably targeting Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. First and foremost, it kind of shocks me a little bit that Bill Belichick was interested in the Bears coaching job, and it came to light that Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniel, and a couple of other coaches kind of sat in the meeting over the course of the season, and they all deemed that the Chicago Bears coaching job was probably the most attractive, but Bill Belichick understood that there was no way in hell that Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren and the Bears organization were going to go with a coach like him. And don't get me wrong, Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. But I will say this first and foremost on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, that would have been a terrible fit, not only for the organization, but it would have been a terrible fit for quarterback Caleb Williams. Because first and foremost, you get a guy like Belichick, you already know what he's going to do. He's going to go out and sign Josh McDaniel as his offense coordinator. And I absolutely do not like Josh McDaniel. That would have not been good for Caleb Williams. I do like the aspect of Bill Belichick and like that do your job mentality. He is a tough coach. He instills discipline. He demands respect from the players. But that would have been the wrong hire for the Chicago Bears. So I'm glad that, Bill Belichick understood the assignment, said, you know what, I really do want the Bears job. I would be interested and maybe interviewing for the job, but I think he understands what's best for the organization, and what's best for the Chicago Bears organization is to possibly get a strong offensive mind like a Ben Johnson or maybe even a Joe Brady from the Buffalo Bills. So here's where things get interesting, because we've been talking a lot about who we think the next Chicago Bears head coach would be. We talked about Ben Johnson, Joe Brady, and of course we brought up guys like Mike Vrabel and Brian Flores as well. Those guys have proven experience. They are a leader of men. They demand the same type of respect that Bill Belichick would command if he was a head coach of the Chicago Bears as well. But it seems crazy that now these rumors are starting to gain traction and there's more fire behind them, because for most of the time, it's like, okay, it's just smoke at this point. We don't know if Ben Johnson's actually interested or if he's actually going to become the next Chicago Bears head coach. But now it seems like it's too good to be true. And it seems at this point, it's going to be Ben Johnson or bust for the Chicago Bears. I think Mike Vrabel, Joe Brady, Cliff Kingsbury will all get interviews and they'll get the opportunity to prove why they should be the next head coach of Chicago Bears and their plans for Caleb Williams and the development of the other players on this roster. But it seems that there is too many ties to Ben Johnson being the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. And once again, I understand all the concerns. And I've even talked about some of the concerns of Ben Johnson, right? About him not being a proven head coach. Maybe he comes here and he just flops as the next coach of the Bears, right? And that's always possible. But I think when you look at what he's been able to do to the Detroit Lions roster, and of course, they have a very good offensive line, and he may not have that right away here in Chicago. I know that concerns some Bears fans, including myself. But when you look at his offensive mastermind and him just being a good OC, X's and O's type of guy, I think that's what Caleb Williams desperately needs. The question now is for Ben Johnson is, can he also be a leader? It seems to me that he's not like that rah-rah guy. He's nowhere near that Mike Vrabel attitude or that Dan Campbell attitude or even Bill Belichick type of attitude. Can he actually lead a group of men? I understand guys like David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff speak very highly of a guy like Ben Johnson. There's a reason why those guys don't want Ben Johnson to leave as their OC. But can he be an offensive mastermind head coach / play caller, but also be able to take care of the other needs of the organization when it comes to game management decisions, right? Those crunch time decisions that Matt Eberflus struggled at time and time again. I think that's where, you know, the most Bears fans are concerned about at the end of the day. Can Ben Johnson be a good head coach and offensive play caller for the Chicago Bears? We've seen the success he's had with the Detroit Lions. Can he do the same with the Chicago Bears? So I understand both sides of the sticks, but it seems to me that not only the Chicago Bears fan base feels strongly about this, it seems that other coaching candidates understand what the Chicago Bears are planning to do. And I understand we've heard so many different rumors about the Bears either going a leader of men, you know, a proven head coach in Mike Vrabel or offensive-minded head coach, but it seems like it's starting to lean more towards guys like Ben Johnson, Joe Brady, and Cliff Kingsbury possibly being the finalists for the Chicago Bears head coaching job. And we all say this. I think we all agree on this as Bears fans. As much as some of you guys don't want Ben Johnson, I think Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles are concerned is what is best for Caleb Williams. I understand there's a 51 other guys on this roster that Ben Johnson would have to lead. But I think at the end of the day, we understand that we have a young, talented quarterback that could potentially be our franchise quarterback in Caleb Williams. Now it's about his development, because we know that we can only go as far as Caleb Williams will take us. And I think Ben Johnson does have connections to Caleb Williams. I think that's why he was interested in Caleb Williams prior to the Chicago Bears drafting him. When he found out the Bears had the #1 overall pick, that's why he was probably interested in the Chicago Bears job, right? So at this point, I think it's destined that Ben Johnson will be the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. And if he doesn't become the next head coach of the Chicago Bears, I think there will be a lot of Bears fans that will be a little upset. And I think we all know that Mike Vrabel has massive experience. I think he would also be a very good head coach. But I think the consensus is that, you know, we want to see Caleb Williams flourish. And we are concerned that Mike Vrabel wouldn't do what's best or be able to get the most out of quarterback Caleb Williams. So I just wanted to break that down to you guys. I found it kind of interesting that Bill Belichick was actually interested in the Chicago Bears coaching job. I'm totally fine with not even giving him any consideration. Once again, he's the best of the best, future Hall of Famer, NFL head coach. I just don't think it would translate with these guys. I think it would be fun. I think the players would be excited maybe for the hire. But as a fan base, I don't think there was really anyone out there that wanted Bill Belichick as the next head coach. Once again, I am fine with Mike Vrabel at the end of the day if that is their decision. But it just seems to me that guys like Bill Belichick, any of these old school guys, kind of understand, and people around the league understand what the direction that the Bears are looking for. And it seems to me that it's probably going to be an offensive mind basically Ben Johnson or bust for the next Chicago Bears head coach. So Bears fans, as always, how do you guys feel about what Bill Belichick and these guys had to say about the possible direction of the Chicago Bears, just basically wanting an offensive guy for the next head coach? Please let me know how you're feeling down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic.